that long of a break. Hello, everyone. I'm moving to business the third, and joining me on the cast is going to be Aiden Zyrene Moon. It's good to be up here, man. It's been a while since we got to cast together.
Yeah, it has been a while. I mean, Freak gets a little jealous every time I'm casting with other people. Seda, you now.
It's all right. It's all right. We'll do a dinner thing later.
Yeah.
Next on the docket is Team Dignitas versus Renegades. We've already seen some games with roster changes today, and this series is no exception. On Team Dignitas, we have Billy Boss coming in for Smitty J in the top lane, and on the side of Renegades, Lod will be filling in for Freeze in the marksman position.
Yeah, Billy Boss is joining Dig in the LCS after playing with various challenger squads over the past few years, and he has a similarly aggressive style to Smitty J, so this change isn't actually going to change up Dignitas' team dynamic too much, but I'm excited to see what he has with that aggressive style, see how it's been working out for them. And Dignitas, they did use that aggressive style, and they started their first week looking strong. Despite losing to Energy, Dig actually had an exceptional early game, and a tribute that they actually carried over in their match against CLG, and you usually don't have really great early games against the CLG squad.
No, that roams usually put you off guard, and then they're able to take the game, so it's good to see that early pressure. Yeah. It sounds like we are set up for quite the barn burner, however, because Renegades are no stranger to aggression either. We saw last week with lots of different fates call engages, and Remy wasn't afraid to flash into and go for the Morgana bindings as well, so we'll have to see if that synergy is there for the whole team.
Yeah, they had a lot of trust in each other, but the challenge for the Renegade squad is ensuring they have the tools to find the fights they're looking for. Teams have already started to shape their picks and bans around denying Remy's hard-engaged champions, and the solo lanes will need to find a way to capitalize on power picks to get that engaged that they need so desperately. And these are teams that will likely be fighting for those bottom playoff spots. Which team can shape up faster and keep their aggression consistent throughout the game is actually going to have a big leg up in getting that spot for themselves.
All right, well, let's get right into this one with a quick roster rundown. On the blue side, it is going to be Team Dignitas. That means in the top lane, it is Billy Boss. In the jungle, we have Key Ray. Shifter in the mid lane, Apollo at AD carry. Coming in at support is Kiwi Kid, and as always behind them, Coach Raz.
And on the red side, it's Renegades. In the top lane, we have RF Legendary. In the jungle, we have returning LCS player Crumbs. In mid, we have Alex Seach. And AD carry, we have Lod, the new guy right now.
Yep.
And then support Remy, looking for those hard engages. And coach is Hermes.
That's right. Alex is taking a quick break. He'll be back to the stage, and we'll get the
legs.
game underway. Make sure you got to get all the nerves out. You got to get all the potty breaks out. Sometimes it hits you right before the game. I was talking about that with Kobe the first time. It's those nerves. I mean, Alex is even one of the better players we see, or I should say more experienced players on the stage. It has nothing to do with being better. Yeah. And still, nerves will get you, man.
Oh, yeah, it happens.
You got to use the bathroom.
You have to hold this cast down. I got to go for a second.
It happens. Go.
It does happen. Nature calls. Sometimes you have to answer. But, of course, Alex stretching his legs, getting ready before the game, makes sure that you're focused. And that's a big thing, is when you go and you actually are like sitting down, you're getting ready to play the game, you can't let yourself get too distracted from what your goal was, because you sit down and you're like, oh, I'm ready to play, but wait, no, I know we need to go get some water, I need to go get something else, and then you're out of your zone for a bit. You
got to do everything. Left shoe first, right shoe next, button, every other button, and then you're good to go. Looking at this game, though, you mentioned, as we get back on track a little bit here, you mentioned Remy getting banned out on her supports. That was huge that they faced in their last match, and if they can't come out of that strong and they can't find other ways to engage or find a way that the rest of the team feels comfortable to engage in that situation, it's going to cause some problems.
Yeah, I'm expecting, since Renegades is the red side, that'll free up some bans for Dignitas to throw at Remy, throw a Thresh out, throw an Alistar ban out. But also what we saw previously when Renegades played against Energy is they actually took the Callista away in their first round.
Yeah,
took it away.
Support
so
bans and then the take away.
Exactly. So Freeze didn't have the champion that would allow Remy to make these risky plays and get away with it. Now with Lod in the AD carry position, I'm really curious to see how he actually handles the roams of Remy and if they're still lane dominant, because Lod is a player who likes to be aggressive, but he swapped between AD carry and mid pretty back and forth in the last few years, and he's had good performances on both roles. But I want to see, just lock yourself down here, play with Remy. I want to see what they're able to do. If the other lanes can actually step up and hard engage too, it'll help Remy out, but it doesn't seem to be the style of Renegades yet. They're very vision-centric.
No, absolutely. I was just going to point that out. You're saying all these engages. That's really Crumbs' game from the basic books of just putting vision down all the time. You can hear the crowd, most likely Alex, heading back to his chair. You can see on Crumbs' screen. But this guy right here, vision is power. And that's what he has always put forth in his games. And now back on the LCS stage, gets to try to do that with Renegades. And hopefully, back to the beginning of this story, is that's where they can get their engages again. Because once we do see that vision go away, Renegades themselves start to crumble as well.
Yeah, when that vision goes away, they become paralyzed to make plays.
Right.
But that's the thing. If you take the Callisto away as well, they might be a little paralyzed to make plays, see if Lod's good on that champion, and then that's something else that becomes contested. Because Renegades, they want to constantly fight. They love their team fighting, and they love that when they have vision dominance, they aren't afraid to go for those plays very consistently. And I think that the Renegades have a little bit of stage nerves in a couple of their members, that when you have everybody backing you up and you get to make these plays consistently, it's not that, oh, I messed up that one play and now the game's done. It's you have to mess up like 5 plays in a row. So you get so much margin for error.
Well, both teams 1-1 coming in on the day. We'll see where they end after this matchup. Week 2, going quick. Before you know it, we'll be in the summer split. Teams trying to put the wins under their belt right now. Who will pull into the lead and not be even after Week 2, Day 1? Right now, Fiora and Callisto have been banned out, so Lod will not get that, and that also takes away that engage a little bit. We were talking that we saw so much from Renegades.
We're going to see some power picks here. Whatever ends up being left up, whether it's Lulu, Rise, Poppy, Graves, Jungle.
Seeing more Poppy, that's for sure.
I love Poppy.
The play is fantastic to see.
All right.
Especially when it can be done well. Rise gets taken out. Mundo, there's a little bit of the late game. Who is after Gangplank? His 100% pick ban trophy belt that he wears.
That's actually 100% banned.
It is just
these
100%
are the only bans. It's funny. Freak earlier was like, yeah, he's pretty much, I don't think we've seen one yet. He's like, yeah, he's 100% banned. Nobody gets to be able to play Gangplank. He's always in that slot.
So it's basically just like the lore. They took him back out.
Yeah, he's
gone. He's gone. Gangplank's gone.
The players are disabling him. Don't get mad at us.
Poppy is now going to be taken out. We just mentioned her really putting a mark on the game. Like, Billy Boss, he'll be looking to lock in the Kench. Bring him off the bench here for Team Dignitas to start off picks and bans, and he will do so.
Tom Kench, the anti-playmaker here. This stops a lot of different strategies. The pick strategy that you might want to run if you're Renegades now is pretty much put off to the wayside. You have to come up with something else, maybe some team fight. But then again, Tom Kench is still a great flex pick. Top, support, either of them work. A lot of people have been playing it top.
It could really be Billy Bosses because we have not seen the Kench go in. Kiwi could probably play that anyways, but could be locked in for Billy, as you said, flex pick. Thresh, I love it. I want to see some Thresh play, especially Remy's. Love that in the promotion tournament, as well as Graves getting locked in. We've also seen him get a fair share of bans.
Yes, he was not very popular last week in the North American LCS, and it was quite curious because Jungle Graves and now Top Graves are very popular in other regions, and it's being played pretty much every chance that people can get. I know the LCK is not on top of it just yet because when you play it in the jungle, you don't have the same type of gank pressure, really. It's a burst farm jungler, but also here, it's a flex pick because if you throw it to the top lane and it's against the Tom Kench, Graves top beats Tom Kench top. You're constantly shoving him into his turret with your early wave clear, and when you get somebody under their turret as Graves, you just throw out Qs against the wall, you throw them against the turrets, you have lots of targets to get burst off. So early aggression there. And to touch on your last point about the Thresh for Remy, she was once called Mad Wife.
Mad Wife. There you go. Lock it in. And it wasn't the promotion tournament. It was just their promotion game out of challengers. I wanted to correct myself.
Yeah. Oh, you waited so long for that. I'm sorry.
No. I actually just thought about it when we went back to talk about Remy's Thresh. So, looking at what the bans are now, or the picks are, Corki and Rek'Sai being locked in. So we see the double 80 carry composition. Where's some tank going to come in for this Renegades composition?
Well, it could still be the top lane. Honestly, this could be a Graves jungle, Corki mid, and then you could have a third 80 carry here. But I do think...
No.
I know. What has happened to this meta? But Lod does play a mean Corki, and I wouldn't put it past him to lock that in and play it there. But it is actually going to be a Graves top. Most likely, it can still be an 80 carry, right? Because that's going to be a Rek'Sai jungle pretty much 100%. So that's locked in.
All right, Apollo, Kiwi. You are the middleman for the picks now. What will you choose for your team or yourself? As we see the Alistar coming in, it will mean that Tom Kench is going to be in the top lane, locked in. Shifter gets his Ahri, really putting a stamp on that lat champion. Last time we played it, showed a lot better in mid versus GBM. And we're also going to see that Tom Kench top as Kiwi Kid takes the alley.
Tom Kench top against Graves. We talked about the matchup before. Graves has an edge early and can really get up to those item points where he's no longer just a kind of a damage 8 burst 80 carry. He becomes extraordinarily tanky as well. Now, the Alistar for Kiwi Kid, it's pretty much a classic pick for him. You're going back to how Remy has performed in Promotion and Challenger Series.
Yeah.
Well, in Relegations, Kiwi Kid kept Dignitas in with a 5-man Pulverize in Game 5. So he's going back to a pick here that he knows how to engage on and that he can make those plays.
That pixel brush near Baron, remember the Pulverize very clearly. Hopefully he can replicate that same play. We see teams locked in on both sides. Nice lock in plus poke potential coming in here from Renegades. They can kind of make some moves if they want to, if Remy can get those thresh hooks in. But it doesn't look like they have too many options other than
Yeah, and this is a little bit of a different look here for the Renegades squad because it's poke. You have wave clear with the Victor and the Corki, and also Graves. Graves has a great amount of wave clear with the end of the line Q. But this is a composition that's squishy. You're not going to really be jumping all in a whole bunch.
Yep.
So you're looking for picks here, but then there's the Tom Kench. If anybody gets thresh hooked, they're going to get eaten by Billy Boss's Tom Kench, and it's going to be very frustrating. So they have to poke, they have to play this game slow, and they're looking for a little bit of a stall out here on the Renegade squad.
getting eaten by Tom Crench. That's not frustrating. I'm just lying. That's very frustrating. We'll see what Zyrene says. If it comes true, the team comps are set. So head over to Twitter and weigh in on this match. Hashtag DIG win or hashtag REN win. Lock in your vote, and we will show you later how you are affecting the game. The players, or rather the viewers in-house, have been loud and proud all day. Happy to see more games. This will be our final one on the day here. Dignitas versus Renegades. Coming to you live here from the LCS studio. We are about to be on the Rift, and we'll see who leaves this game 2-1 as both teams are tied up.
And you definitely want to start jockeying for that position. You were saying, you know, the season's pretty much over, the split's pretty much over before you know it in summer. You need to start getting as many wins as you can against the teams that people project to be around you in the standings, because those tiebreakers start to add up very quickly. So if Renegades and Dignitas are fighting for those 5th, 6th, 7th spots, well, you don't want to have to drop down and not have a chance at Worlds.
Right.
Also, you want to keep your career.
Also, it'll show that these teams, when they play under pressure, if they're failing in these games, it's going to be even more pressure. Boom. Once you actually get down to the wire. Nice end of the line off the wall. Billy Boss takes a chunk of damage there, and you can just see that's like how level 1 Graves damage is.
Yes.
Gotta stay away from it.
It's pretty much banned out for a reason.
Do not touch hot fire.
Yeah. If the end of the line makes contact with a wall, it immediately explodes. And the idea is that it's supposed to be a small amount of damage when it first comes out, and then you have 2 seconds to react. But there is that caveat of if it's against a wall, boom, you take it instantly. So stay away from it. Pretty much treat it like a poppy. Don't be near a wall. Don't have a wall on the other side of you.
Ward wars and support wars back and forth. We'll see what Keystone Masteries everybody's running in just a few here. So Shifter playing up against Huhi in that mid lane on the Ahri. I was mistaken. It was not GBM, but he's still definitely increasing and getting back to that point where Shifter can be the guy to get a triple kill or a double kill in a fight that doesn't look like it's going Dignitas' way. Yeah,
Shifter had a really good week last week. He went 8-2-7 on Anivia, and then he went 6-1-10 on Ahri. So overall, he ended up with a 14-3-17 performance last week. An amazing KDA for Shifter, and he was the person that people were saying wasn't being aggressive enough in lane.
Right.
And now he's playing Ahri. Now he's playing these champions that allow him to be very active.
The walk-up flay harass. Lod also putting a few shots in, and Renegades already has this lane won by HP if they keep that aggression up. It's just here and there's. We'll see if they make a move at 2.
Yeah, the thing is that this lane with Alistar now, you have to watch the level 2, you have to give it up, and even if Dignitas hit level 2 first, there's no headbutt pulverize combo because heal is taken at level 1 here. So there wasn't really a huge amount of threat that Dignitas was going to get out of this skill order.
Right. Just allowing it to push the turret, making it safe for them. Good relics off by Kiwi Kid. He'll put a few tags in here so Apollo can do the damage necessary. Mid lane 11-11, all tied up. A lot of focus on the CS. Nothing has been done while CSing here. No trades of damage just yet. Jungler path. Looks like it's going to be Scuttle for Crumbs. Very healthy here. He could dip into the mid lane.
And it looks like he's actually just going to go around and try to ward up here. Get that vision. Ooh.
Just out of range.
Quite. Not quite, but he is looking like he wants to go gank mid lane. Shifter, though, it is good to put pressure on him. Alex Each and Crumbs, they had a lot of synergy in Challenger, and this is how they got their advantages.
Oh! Charm to laser. Can he get the party tent down? Kirei is going to be top side. And Shifter knew that, so he was kind of hovering. But good try by Crumbs. Good pressure.
Yeah, just chunking out a mid laner is worth it a lot of the times for a jungler. You'll see Nidalee's just run by, throw a flyby spear. If it lands, then you're in a good spot. But actually, Kire is actually going to take a long way around top here, and because Graves shoves in on Tahm Kench, you do have to be conscientious of when the jungler could be your way. He actually backs up and sacrifices a little bit of his wave just to play it safe. Which the thing is, you can't play safe forever when you push the wave up like that. And now Kire is going to actually come around and look for this gank opportunity.
Oh, that ward was placed just recently, but it's going to be enough time. Quick draw is there. He uses it. Cocoon's going to be just out of range of the turret. Now he walks in for the spiders. Billy Boss actually couldn't make the range, but he does get forward. Throws the flash on. Gray Health will be there. First blood for Team Dignitas.
Crumbs on the other side of the map just cleaning up his jungle, so wasn't called to the top lane there to help out RF. And that's the problem, is when you have this Graves, you're constantly going to be shoving. That's how you beat this Tahm Kench in the matchup, but Kire taking advantage of that because it's a losing matchup naturally. That's actually pretty cool that he decided to go up there knowing he was going to be in that state.
Be a little bit different from the Tracer play we saw in Jhin Air Graves. That 8-minute turret taken down in the top lane. We'll see if he can still do the damage and serve his purpose, because that's still what he wants to do. He's going to get back to that lane and still be able to keep doing the same thing.
Yeah, he's going to continue to do that, but now he doesn't have a flash, and now he doesn't have a TP on that Graves in the top lane. So it becomes even riskier. He has to get wards. You see the pink ward in his inventory. If he can place it down on the bush behind him, he's going to be able to clear out a ward. He's going to be able to be a little bit safer, but you should have your jungler play towards this side of the map.
So pretty well off at the turret, though. We do see 33 to 19 CS for RF Legendary. Even though he went down, he will have to play safer, so that may be evened out here as Billy Boss puts on some pressure. CS around the map generally in favor of Renegades so far, but that first play for Team Dignitas here. Let's see if Kire can get any more moves made. Blue buff over to Alex. Very difficult to make anything happen in the mid lane, but we'll see if he can do anything. This is the guy that was getting people, or getting challenger teams in, right? And then he brings himself in on one. Let's see if he can make the moves. He's been trying to do it for a long time. A long time waiting for him to get a victory in the championship.
Yeah, Alex has a history of beating teams near the bottom of the LCS, whether he's on a sub-squad or not.
Yep.
He's used to adapting to having new members too, so having Laud here, and as they transition to team fights, it may not be that different for him. It actually seems to be pretty plug and play right now during the laning phase. It's not as aggressive of a bot lane, because Freeze has very aggressive tendencies, but just feeling out this matchup with the Corki Thresh and how Laud and Remy are going to continue to play it. You have to kind of figure out what your style is midway.
Nice charm. The trade actually was not that good coming from Alex. He missed his laser. Shifter feels good to go in. Kire just to the side. And he gets the bite in. Kills down Alex each and gets the flash.
Kire is in the right places at the right time right now.
He really is.
Setting these up, and he is knowing and he's communicating with his laners, hey, this is when I'm coming in.
And the thing that gets me on this Cyrene is they noticed the pressure on RF Legendary, so they warded 2 pinks for him. Kire's taking 1 out right now. So the top side of the map and somewhat mid was warded, and that still happens. Kire comes right down the channel of that pink ward and takes down Alex.
Yeah, rather late flash from Alex. He ate the charm at the start, so if he flashed, he knew that the distance would only be closed by Ahri, and there would be no follow-up CC. So holding that for too long, Kire comes out on top and now has 2 kills. And Kire had a mixed performance last week.
Absolutely.
One game where he's running through gravity fields and he's basically losing his team the game. And then the other one, he's affecting every lane, but speaking of affecting lanes...
Playback, summoners are up on both sides. Nothing's been used. Crumbs is hovering. Remy goes in, hides in the brush, tries to deny vision. Now to the other brush, they're gonna get a kill here. No, not onto KiwiKid. TP comes in and deters the fight. And Billy Boss does not go any harder, but this now leaves RF in the top lane by himself.
Exactly. Stall this back. Billy Boss is backing in a bad place. Make sure that you're able to stall it.
Oh,
you get more CS on this top lane. 64 to 40 right now, and he gets turret damage.
Crumbs is trying to do a lot of work for the team right now. He is back and forth, trying to get kills, trying to make plays happen, just ulted towards mid, and Dignitas is almost 1 step ahead on each time.
Kire is having a rather good game here in terms of where his pressure is, but you see, he's going to get pressured by Crumbs here.
Once again.
Comes to the back.
Crumbs trying to make moves.
He got it.
Yes, he did. Couldn't tell for a second when he was on his turret, or his tunnel there. Goes over. They're really in the face of Key right now. They want to shut him down. 2-0. It would be nice shutdown gold as well. But now to the bottom lane, a 3v3, now a 4v4 as both Victor and Ari start to pull down. Looks like Shifter is going to use this time to push mid lane, which has to mean they're calling for Dig to be very safe here in the bot.
Shifter is going to go back to clearing it. And that's going to bring Alex and Crumbs both up. But they saw Elise down bottom, so if Shifter pushes too far forward, he's going to get ganked by Crumbs. So he has to actually back up after a bit. Or go for a roam. There he goes.
So it looks like Legendary, or RF rather, has gone for that serrated Dirk.
Yep, looking for the Youmuu's Ghostblade first buy on Graves. The armor penetration is extraordinarily good with the end of the line and the collateral damage. The build actually gets really smooth after that. You get the Youmuu's Ghostblade, and then you can build into tank very quickly. And it's a mixture of tank. You go for the Maw of Malmortis, and then you also get a Sterix Cage.
Ah.
So you have multiple shields. You have shields on shields.
Crumbs looking for the bot lane once again. Kind of factoring this into time, there would still have really been wards down there placed by Dignitas in that last little fight they had. Kiwi Key grabbed out. He's level 6. Kiwi's all right on that one, but he has to pop the ultimate, so that could mean Renegades keep going a little bit harder each time.
Exactly. Kiwi Kid is low, though, out of mana. He has to back right now, and nobody really has enough to actually clear here. Ooh. It landed, but not quite the target that they wanted. In the top lane, though, this is also the other part of this pressure that's happening here in the bottom lane, is that they've started to force a play by Renegades because Legendary in the top lane, he has TP advantage, and he's always going to push Billy in. So you have to be conscious of where he's going to come from, where's the ward, because if they were able to get behind the tier 1 turret, they're actually able to make this type of outnumbered play that Renegades wants to have. And Renegades, despite being down 2 kills, and even in turrets, they're actually up in gold because of these CS leads we're seeing in both bot and top.
Yep, just edging it out. So I don't know if Crumbs, we'll keep an eye on him as well. He's got good tunnels around, and he's been trying to make plays left and right for the team. Dignitas shutting it down, though. Key Ray did not go down. He's still gold to be waiting to be picked up here by Renegades. But Dignitas, looking at their team comp, what are we looking for them towards late game? Because that's actually when we see the intensity, kind of the pressure of a game start to take hold over their strats and kind of take them apart. Okay,
so in contrast to what Renegades want to do, Renegades want to group up. They want to be able to siege and poke and wave clear. If you look at Dignitas' squad, though, they actually want to stop the engage of Remy, which is pretty much the only engage on this squad, using Billy Boss, and they want to have some team fights / skirmishes where it's 2-on-2s, 3-on-3s in the middle of a fight. Because Elise is fantastic, a lot of single target pick with the Cocoon alongside Shifter's RE Charm. So these are champions that really want to be able to section people off and not have an all-out 5v5 team fight, because that'll favor Victor a little bit, but you want to have 2-on-2s, 3s-on-3s.
Got vision of Crumbs going towards the top. Multiple pressures on this Alex each lane. Back and forth. Key-Ray does not stop making a few visits here. Looks like Alex will be fine for now. 105 to 108, safe in that lane, and it's slowed down. But what I'm expecting is once these lanes break, the triple AD composition, I feel like we're going to get some pretty volatile fights here once they break out. Because either the AD carrier is going to die immediately, or they're going to delete their one-on-one opponent.
Yeah, that's how it works, is you don't really have too much of a front line in these compositions. Tom Kench is pretty much the tankiest member here alongside the Alistar, but with Renegades, they've pretty much thrown tankiness out the window. So members of Renegades have to position appropriately. They cannot get hit by a Charm, they cannot get hit by a Cocoon, and there you go, Riv. It's not 8 minutes, it's 12 minutes and 40 seconds, but the top lane turret goes down.
Just gets out. But Crumbs is getting a little bit of knowledge with what he's doing. Has to blow his flash, and Dignitas is not really giving up an inch here. The whole team is moving as a collective unit every time something happens. Shifter coming down to help a team if necessary. And then they called to push the mid lane on that last bottom tier engage we thought Renegades was going to hit. So Dignitas is doing a very nice dancing game around what Renegades has been trying to put on the table.
Yeah, Dignitas, especially Key-Ray, have been doing a good job of beating them at the kind of heading them off at the pass if it's an Old Western,
That's a good way to put it.
So Key-Ray is showing up top because the turret's about to go down, and he knows that this is a prime place for Crumbs to show up. It's It's kind of that, if I were him, I would gank this lane right now. So I'm going to go there and try to stop it. Just keep his lane safe and counter gank.
Looking at what the next move may be here. That was very fast by Renegades to pick up a chunk of gold. Bottom turret, top turret. They're still going to send Lon and Remy back here down to the bot lane. So mid's not really getting the pressure towards Shifter just yet. Maybe for setting up onto Dragon here and seeing if they can double up on the objective and the turret.
You have to watch out for these power spikes, though, on Renegade's side. If you're going to be grouping up and trying to push down turrets, Renegades are going to be looking to all group mid, because it's that last one standing. And they do have the Youmuu's Ghostblade, which is so gold effective.
Oh, no!
Remy, oh, the pick!
That's going to be a womp-womp situation for Renegades. They try to go in a little too deep. Like you were saying, that mid lane is there. They're spreading themselves very thin in a 1-1-2. The 3 now as Crumbs kind of hovers down here, but did not need to push the second tier turret.
Yeah, you have to watch for those picks when you go into these places that don't have vision. And Remy's not level 9, right? You don't have the upgraded sweeper. And Lod, he hasn't changed out his trinket yet for a blue trinket, so he's not able to scout these out. He's not able to scout out these blank positions that they don't have vision of.
Well, maybe a play to come. Crumbs never leaving something without, or never leaving a situation without something, as he puts a lot of deep wards down after losing Remy there, and they may be able to make a play off it soon. Dragon's up. This is also what it may mean. 15 minutes on the clock. It looks like Kiwi Kid is in and out, but I don't know if they have the resources to do anything else. They just look, taking pictures.
First Dragon for themselves here. After you take that bottom turret, it's rather easy to put pressure on the Dragon. Pick it up for yourself. I'm surprised they haven't rotated mid yet, but Kirei, ping that he's coming top a long time ago in RF. Now you push bottom or pressure bottom if you're the Renegade side and you try to at least get something back, but it looks like it's not going to happen. Shifter also fainted towards the top lane.
Dick might be able to pick up these outer turrets really without finding any other pressure on the map. Yeah, the Dragon went down, and that's going to be all right for a bit of damage percentage, but I feel like mid would be going down here so they can get more wards and open up the way they try to want to work their team.
Shifter has to watch himself. He has two extra people in his lane.
Would it almost be the possibility that they're kind of saying, Dignitas, we want you to group more, because if they do get one good fight, they get more than one turret?
It's true. Yeah, if they group more and then they end up getting a good fight off of them, they can take a lot more with those death timers. But right now, that was really a trade for pretty much nothing. I'd call it a trade, but it was kind of a steal in that top lane, because they're not getting much in return. They're going to be able to get some damage here. We have to watch out for the wave clear. Might be able to take it, though.
Yeah, those 380 carries finally in the same spot. But wait, they really want to go on this. Kirei goes in very far. Kiwi Kid's trying to go in, but he can't get past the box quick enough for a headbutt pulverized. Nobody's gone down just yet, but a whole heck of a lot of summoner spells coming out from Renegade's side there to get themselves disengaged, and the turret does finally fall down.
And you see Renegade's playing that correctly. RF doesn't even use his Youmuu's Ghostblade in that because it wasn't something they wanted to actually fight. They just wanted to disengage it. Box comes down, flash away, make sure that you aren't continuing this fight against a composition that has so much CC, and you are just these very squishy AD carries running around. So you have to play this position correctly, and Renegades just wanted to disengage and get a turret.
Also got both junglers, no tracker knives there. Sight stones for each of them instead of those trackers we've usually been seeing.
Oh, Billy. Billy. Our observer's calling you out. Oh, man. I didn't see that the first time. I don't know who else didn't see that the first time, but
I didn't see that.
I would have been none the wiser.
Too bad. Good thing Kobe's not on this cast. 3 minutes. That's going to be the Rift Herald, and it is picked up by Lod.
Oh, man. So a lot of teams are actually getting in the habit of taking Rift Herald because they're figuring out, okay, let's at least figure out how it feels and when we should be able to take it. So if it ever gets buffed, we'll know how to take it. And I actually think it's not a bad strategy at all. No, people are thinking about this.
I'm sorry, I was still reminiscing. I apologize.
Oh, about the TP?
I'm sorry. I had to. Okay.
It's all good. It's all good.
You're right.
But yeah, Rift Herald buff comes through, and it looks like it's just going to be split push on the opposite sides of the map here with one defender. I mean, 4v1s, 3v1s.
Oh. They get one instance that favors them, and you see how fast Renegades can take these turrets.
Renegades are faster.
They're going to trade the tier 2 here, possibly in the bot lane. We already see a back from Kirei saying that, wait, we actually need more resource for defense. That means their turret pushing gets that much slower. There now, here comes Kiwi Kid. More members are backing, and that's going to be RF Legendary with a TP if he needs to get to the top side of this map. But great 4-1 played here by Renegades to get an inhibitor turret and only lose one of their own.
Take the Rift Herald, immediately group up and push, and they used the pushing power of the Rift Herald better than any other team I've seen so far. As soon as they took it, wasn't just to get into the habit.
It was
go into those lanes and use your push advantage. And RF was just on wave clear duty on the bot side, and he's relatively safe. Graves can quick draw out. Graves can throw down a smoke screen. You even have an extra little nudge yourself backwards with the collateral damage now, so that he's rather safe in that. So it wasn't going to get
the new love of Swifties too opens up a few little doors, a little bit more speed, and just makes it that much more comfortable.
So when everybody has Swifties, is it really a speed advantage anymore? I don't know.
Because you can quick them.
It's that whole if everybody's fast, then nobody really is.
It feels better, Cyrene. He'll outrun Apollo.
That's true. He'll outrun Apollo.
Fast speed.
Actually, I don't know. I gotta check the Zeal movement speed here. He's 6 movement speed higher.
And that's what you say, got him.
RF just a little bit quicker on the draw.
It's a minute on to Dragon. Everybody's in the mid lane, as we would think. Kirei looking for a bind here, or a cocoon, I should say. I don't think anybody's really going to be able to go off of it, as we're still waiting for Team Dignitas to group and gather up in the mid lane. Still RF Legendary trying to work that TP being up towards the top lane, which means Billy Boss is going to have to make a very long walk. Does he actually commit to this all the way? If he's seen, this could be quite an easy Dragon here for Renegades. Number 2, not the worst thing in the world, but it may just be uncontested now.
They're actually going to send Kirei and Kiwi Kid both up to the top side. RF is actually playing this rather well. It's very hard as a top laner to not just get, not just say, okay, you can have that minion wave, I'm not greedy, but to back all the way off. Because there's a lot of times where you stand there as a top laner and you're like, okay, I'll take 5 steps backwards. When you really need to take 35 and go all the way back. Keep yourself really safe.
But you know better than everybody telling you things, right? No, I can stay. I'm all right. I swear to God, I just saw somebody bot lane. They're bot lane.
Yeah.
And they all jump out of the bush.
They're missing. They could be anywhere. Well, they're probably not here. Oh, they're all here. The Dragon up. Billy Boss pushing top lane. Tom Catch, not really the premier split pusher and taking turrets. RF's going to come up there, clear this wave out. Both top laners have TP. This may be the fight here, depending on the CC and how it gets started off in this fight, Riff.
So here's the long walk from Billy Boss. He's got the ultimate up, so he can go kind of crazy. He's going to be actually able to push mid here with Apollo. So this is Dig trying to go to the beat of their own drum and make Renegades now act on something. And as they do play reactively, they have to head the long way around, and they're going to lose at least half health on this turret. But Billy Boss's kind of goal side sit here may make it the whole turret.
Oh, he's
got a great health. He goes down. Remy's able to take that kill, but then she falls, and now it's going to be Apollo on the turret. It's a free fight back and forth, but that's a support for a top side. And that's losing a lot of damage in Billy Boss right now. So Dignitas is going to back off. They got a turret, opened up the map a little bit more, and can hopefully work from there. Dragon's still up.
Yeah, when the CC comes out as Tom Kench is low, that's where you save it for. But, you know, Gravity Field stacks up right then, and he can't do anything about it. That's actually great. When you're able to take out the person who's going to stop your playmaking and you actually kill a Tom Kench, it's pretty much handed to you. But right here, now we're going to see the CC.
Oh, Kirei tries to go in immediately on the Gravity Field once again. Somebody goes down, and big plays by Alex Each putting those in the team turning. Good communication there from everybody as they now get Dragon number 2. Pretty hard fought. Dignitas is not giving up these things lightly.
That's the moment in the game where you have your gray screen and you go, oh yeah, he has cleanse. I didn't notice. That happens actually quite frequently to a lot of players.
That feels bad, because then you sit there and you're like, I should have looked at that during loading screen or something.
But
I had 23 minutes to see it.
It was a hyper-aggressive play. Wanted to pick out Alex Each. Instant cleanse, turns it around. They pick up Kirei.
Right.
And now you have to think a little bit more about those windows in which you're going to try to pick Alex. And I also assume that a QSS will come out here very shortly. And Kirei, well, Alex has been the one in front for a while now. And then that instant turnaround, he was definitely the main target there.
Oh, he didn't even get stunned. He just got locked up.
Oh, Apollo wanted to come from the right side. They wanted to have this pincer attack into the choke point, but of course, turning it around on Kirei is definitely going to stunt that.
Seems like a bit of back and forth in communication for Dignitas, or at least not everybody on this, not on the same page, but at the same moment. Yes, I want to engage, but let me take a few more steps forward. Not everybody has the range to get into these fights, and Dignitas is losing one member at a time, as Renegades has been getting away pretty clean for most of the part. It is 4-2, but Renegades is more working off the ball and around the map right now as opposed to straight up the middle.
Yeah, you definitely want to be able to kite back as this composition as well. So when Dignitas is taking steps towards you, being able to walk backwards, throw your Victor laser out, and throw your Corky phosphorus bombs and rockets, you're going to be in a really good spot. You're going to be able to get your damage off with pretty much no rebuttal from a low-range Lucian, and also an Ahri that has to commit to actually get into the fight.
Looking at some of those big names we mentioned in the beginning, Shifter has been having a pretty good time in the mid lane this season. Usually falls behind, normally a bit under his NCS's opponents, so nothing new there, but still looking for him to get a big carry on this game. T-Ray helped to get that mid lane started in the beginning. Remember the ganks on Alex Each, but still Renegades has had Crumbs continuously putting down vision, finding doorways for Renegades to get into openings, and now it's put them basically on top of map control here. You can see him running Dignitas around.
Yeah.
But we haven't seen a move really that put Renegades inside Dig's base. They got the top end hit, but aren't working towards it yet. No chance.
Yep, they're just trying to work towards a fight here. If you can get the correct vision, RF has TP and he's up against Shifter, who's not going to push a turret very quickly with his build just yet. No Lichbane or anything of the like. And he doesn't have TP. So if you were able to actually execute on a play in that top side, which they were trying to force, you saw RF was running backwards. Shifter was pinging him desperately like, hey, this guy could actually get into the fight, and I can't. So good on Dignitas to try and disengage that, despite being a composition that wants to pick you.
What do they want? They're pinging wolves. Let's get wolves. That'll be Tom Kench's.
It's an objective.
It is. Let's see if he finishes an item, but it doesn't look like he's going to. Maybe he just has the gold too? He's got just about 1,600. Goes back, sells the shield, picks up a Giant's belt and a pink ward. Actually 2 Giant's belts being picked up. And we got Captain Swifties for Billy Boss, so that's what he was saving up for.
Captain.
Yep, a little bit more initiation. Hopefully now, as I was saying before, the team can get that bit of follow that they need and the few extra steps that have to happen for these fights to work for Dig.
Give him a little bit extra move speed. If he ever engages and gets into the back line with one of his ultis, they'll be in a good spot to follow him. But both of these teams, in terms of shot calling, you can see the stylistic differences. Crumbs, he's very reserved in his shot calling. It's more macro and rotation and vision oriented.
Yeah.
And then Dignitas,
clearly,
they've pretty much had to reinvent themselves. Again, losing Helios, losing their shot caller, losing a lot of what made them into that team that could come back from deficits. They had a better early game this season, and they once again had that another time. So all 3 games, they've actually had an advantage in early game. It's just this mid-game where it starts to get away from them. They don't seem to know how to play out their composition and what they need to be doing. Because denying vision in this comp is so important, because you can contest objectives, you can threaten the Baron, and even when you're equal like this, even just a Spiderling from Elise coming around the corner and now giving Rylai's slow just makes things much easier. So when you're able to deny and control an area, you can execute on your comp.
And a lot of times,
but they're not.
A lot of times the result of that is from this guy on your screen right here, Kiwi Kid, and the Alistar pick as well. In this same area you were talking about was where that Pulverize happened. If he can get a flash Pulverize, like we said, Renegades is a very squishy team. They've been able to disengage. That would be a lot of dead 80 carries quite quickly. Still waiting for that one moment. It seems like Dig likes to rely on it, or not rely on it a lot, but likes to use it quite a bit, because it's something they're forced into. 1 minute on to Dragon number 3 of the game. Both have been taken over to Renegades. And I'm sure they're smart enough to not put themselves in a scary situation just for number 3. So we'll see how this one works out in 50 seconds.
I like this from Kirei, sweeping out vision. And they already placed the pink ward in the Baron pit. So Dignitas are now denying vision. And if there's anything that people know about Renegades already, it's that they love their vision control. Even you can see Alex holds onto his yellow trinket. This is, I think, the third game. He's done it all 3 games. Could be wrong, but he's done it at least 2 of them.
Hey, man,
I
like
like holding
yellow
on to his yellow trinket all game, which means the sweeper is just even more effective in this matchup. There's more vision for you to sweep off the map. And when you do that, you paralyze Renegades. They don't want to make those kind of risky plays. And I know that's how Crumb's shot calls is.
I don't know where you're going with that, but I still like it.
Basically, deny vision, Renegades becomes less aggressive because they aren't the team who likes to face check ever.
This guy, it's a collection of wards. That was pretty good.
Everywhere.
Wards everywhere. He's happy. That's his power right there. They decide to go. Farm alarm coming out from Crumbs. He is to the mid lane. And they will now start to gather around the Dragon Pit. Like I said, number 3 may just be one that goes to the wayside. Crumbs in range. There's no smite here right now. There's Kirei down to the bottom side. He was hovering underneath Tom Kench's coin, so the smite is there. And it looks like both teams very cautious about back and forth on this. Crumbs in. It's not going to go to Crumbs. Kirei is able to steal that one off.
Oh.
And Crumbs is in a bad spot. He went to tunnel under and got charmed just at the last second. You see the creation, but he was not able to get it. Can Dig make moves now that Renegades is a little out of place, but should still have enough to defend.
I like how Dignitas is approaching these fights, though, because they're approaching from 2 members on one side, 2 or 3 members on the other, and that's how you should be playing this. You want those skirmishes so that when somebody engages and you get the attention of Renegades members, you can pull them off. But Kirei, all right, but also it's good not to group up against the Victor and the Graves. Don't give them so much kind of value for their abilities. Right. If you get hit by a Victor laser, just make sure your entire team doesn't get hit by it. Only 1 or 2 people is fine.
Start the conga line.
So their approach to these fights is good. You can see they're split right now, and Kiwi Kid is actually running the entire way around. And boom, from 800. It's the last number you saw there, and Smite only does 760, so simultaneous. That's the coin toss right there. That's where when you're too fast, you're bad.
Yes, that would be the case.
That's why
not something I have to deal with, though. It's support, you just watch and sit back, swing.
You should keep him away from my Smite target.
It's always, gotta say, it's always easier because you have less pressure. You're the one who's going to steal it and be a hero. As the guy going in, though.
That's true.
You're like, screw that guy. He's got a ton of pressure on him to hit this. I'm just going to take it.
Yeah, 10K down, flash into the pit. You know, we're going to lose anyway.
Pepperidge Farm remembers. So does Saint. 4 to 231 of the clock. Oh, this is what we were looking for.
The damage.
But wait, can they follow up on it? You're right, the damage. 1 for 1 so far. Support for support. That Crumbs damage dealers are still up. Billy Boss going to get hit up. Alex Each takes him down as they flash over the wall. Now it is going to be a 4v3 as Baron gets started. Kirei is still alive, a huge factor to start off a 50-50 Smite War.
And that might be what it comes down to here. It looks like they kind of want to contest this. Kirei, no flash, so we won't be able to get in there that way. But if they can land a good charm, if they can land some damage and follow up here, it's just going to go up to Crumbs.
No smite, no repel, no try coming in from Dignitas after they lose a few. And great job by Renegades. Snap judgment there to go back in on the fight. They got engaged on.
Yeah, and it looks like they're going to try to push out this mid wave. But Victor will show up in just a second here.
Yeah.
And yeah.
We were waiting for a fight from either side. That was a lot of tense time, Zyrene.
Yeah.
Finally happened. It's been neck and neck out the game, and we finally have a bit of a goal difference.
Yeah, Remy is always the one engaging, and it works out perfectly again. Brilliant engagement. Remy gets caught, and then the burst comes out on top of that spot. Kiwi Kid goes down.
This ult was on.
Yes,
Good
it was.
Lord.
Jat was talking about how he's seen Alistars get ripped apart while having their ultimate on. And it happens again, and both tanks of the squad of Dignitas were the ones that were ripped through in that fight. That's the damage that they're bringing here. When you have a top laner that does that much on Graves, when you have Victor,
crazy.
you have 3 big threats. Normally we talk about top laners as, oh, this is a top lane threat. We have, you know, a high damage Mundo who's fat or something, or we have even a Fiora, right? But you don't have something that's just going to build pure damage for pretty much his entire build and burst people.
Bit of an attempt here by Dignitas to just route Renegades coming down the mid lane. Did not work. Everybody gets out safely on that one. All ultimates are up. Looking at a few flashes down. Kiwi Kids, Billy Boss, not a huge factor. Keyray can still get into a position. Alex Each might be a target here, as his is now down, and I'm sure that was called by Dignitas in that previous fight.
He has his cleanse, though, so hitting him with a single target CC
ready for it.
is pretty much something you can't rely on. Both Alex and RF have ways to get out of CC, and it kind of delays Dignitas from actually making a move. You have to get the cooldown out of those abilities and that item, and then try again, but you can't have them engage on you while you're trying to get those abilities out, put them on cooldown. It's rough.
Ping to the bot lane, and assistance called in mid. Billy Boss has TP. It's going to have to come in for, not late, but with knowledge of Renegades now knowing this, so they're going to go hard.
Yeah, they're going to go hard for the place where they took the inhibitor turret a long time ago.
He's just backing. They'll be all right. Nothing crazy. I thought Renegades were going to go harder as soon as they saw him, but they're playing it very safe right now. No need to push themselves outside of the safe zone.
Yeah, just clean up, get some jungle camps on the way out,
and
set up for the dragon in another minute. Look for number 3 here for Renegades. But overall, this game has been pretty steady. It's been about a 2,000 gold lead here for Renegades for a good while now, since the Baron came out. It's all about the setup. They're giving each other kind of, it's like, hey, you get one move, and okay, that was a nice hit. All right, let's reset again. It's like fencing. They keep getting to do it back and forth.
All right, you get a point.
You get a point.
My turn. So you gets the next point. It's 5-4 right now. Taking the lead, but are they? Definitely not map-wise. Renegades has been able to find a lot of the structures and a lot of the objectives. 20 seconds for the next one here. It's Dragon about to spawn.
Yeah, despite Dignitas being down in structures and also being down in gold, you can't really count them out.
Oh, wait.
Kiwi Kid, he's waiting for his flash pulverize. If he can actually land one on priority members, then you will be able to blow them up rather quickly if you're actually able to get your damage dealers up just as fast. So Dignitas is looking for that explosive play, but no contest here.
Yeah, they're playing it safe as well. Over getting blue, Keyray helping out his mid laner, and again for him, 3-1-2 on his Elise game. Has consistently been getting better for Dignitas. It was really a pain point, just by what social media was saying, like, what did this guy do? You know, tried to pick up Kindred and he did terrible, but now it's like it didn't even affect him. And that's really what I like to see, is he kind of just went in and still played his own game, and the team is very much behind him.
Yeah, the Kindred game wasn't that great, 4-5-4, but then his Elise was 3-1-11. From what I've been hearing, he's a really good Elise player and pretty much his best champion.
It seems so. He's got the 3-1 thing going again.
Exactly. He's got 100% kill participation right now.
Yep.
Needs 9 more assists to match his previous score. But he also had the second highest kill participation in that game, right behind Shifter. So he's a very active player, but usually active around mid and top side right now. That seems to be his tendency, is to help out Shifter, to help out Smitty J previously, now Billy Boss.
He did seem to get a bit flustered once Crumb stole his red. But then again, he just went for Alex in mid, so it was flash down. Why not? If I don't have a red, I'm going to go for the guy who's limping around. Mid-game was definitely a bit of a back and forth between the junglers. Keyray and Crumbs got to go at it because we did not get a lane swap throughout this one. And it's played out pretty evenly so far. Renegades feeling comfortable to give up a dragon throughout the game, but have 3 themselves now, as they most recently just got that number 3. Plays to be made very soon here. Once we get down to the second tier turrets, and once those go down, inhibitors, they follow.
Well, you would think, but that top inhibitor's been up all game.
Oh, yeah, that's true. That's true.
But they haven't gone returned to the scene of the crime. They haven't done any type of TP split, but Crumbs is going to look for a fight right now.
He gets bumped out. Kiwi Kid, not really the target you want. A flash play onto Apollo. Now, can Renegades follow up on Remy's hit? You see RF trying to stop the mid turret, and he cannot. That goes down by the hands of Billy Boss, and Dignitas tries to work around the map. They get a turret, they lose a support.
Yep, they wanted to have 3 people top to the 4 of Renegades and not get engaged on, but Crumbs came from the side and was able to start that fight off. They sent 2 members mid, both Shifter and I think Billy Boss, and they were able to actually pressure out RF and get that middle tier 2. So ultimately, they do end up with a slight bit of an extra gold lead off of that, but at the same time, it's still not enough. You got that structure down for trading Kiwi Kid, but you lose a little bit of pressure. Your support's off the map. You don't have this guy who's going to sweep out wards for you.
Yeah.
And you give up Baron, who control 30 seconds before it's up, and Kiwi Kid's going to be up when there's 20 seconds left on. They're going to have to force their way back into that spot, and it might be a little bit blind, too. They do have a ward right on the Baron pit, but you have to watch out for this area leading up into it. It's Renegades now.
Renegades with 2 upgraded sweepers, and they still have the regular trinkets for double warding. That's going to allow them and Crumbs upgrading to the Ruby Sight Stone as well to continue pushing wards forwards. He loves vision.
Yeah, it's extra gold. It gives you 1 more ward, but we'll talk about that later.
Kiwi gets chomped up.
And spit out.
Spit out, he's good. Good for now, but I don't know if you want to go back in with that. That was the ultimate used, and then he was absorbed. So they do not have a lot of the defense they were just looking at. 40 minutes coming up on the clock. Renegades now looking to take Baron against Dignitas. How well does Dig fight against the Baron attempts now? Kiwi Kid goes in, flashes out to make sure they pick up a kill, but no, that's going to be the kill going in onto Crumbs. D-Ray getting grabbed, another flash being blown to get out of a situation. And now opposite sides of where they really want to be here. See if Renegades pulls up, heads to the right as they need to protect some turrets.
As soon as your smite dies, you stop doing Baron. Just stop it. Get out of there. Make sure that you don't continue to help the other team close out that objective. So Crumbs off the field pretty much stops Renegades from doing anything more in that area.
There's no way to take a smite from your friend. It's not like lives in a game. Don't you hit start. Take my heal for a smite. Don't hit start. Let's see how this goes down. Let's survive.
Billy Boss hits the E pretty early on so that when he's stunned, they're not going to be able to blow him up. But that was really smooth there. Kiwi Kid gets the pulverize that he needs, and they blow up Crumbs, who has no way to reposition himself.
And overall for Dignitas, that was even a more fantastic of a play because they had just burned Kiwi's ultimate. It was very dangerous for him to go in, but they were still making split-second plays. We're able to come out with the jungler, like you said, smite down.
Yep.
Baron stays up for now.
But they are even in gold.
For now.
Oh, they try to sneak some members over the wall here, but I think they were spotted out.
Yep, there's Farsi, the alteration. Farsight, Farsi.
Yeah.
I'll get it. Words.
You see Farsight.
You see Farsi. 1 minute on to Dragon. Number 4 becomes a huge deal, but not so much right now with that Baron having so much pressure on it. Forward wards once again from Renegades. See everything around the blue buff, and that's pretty much all they need to know for that top lane. Does they need the inhibitor or they need that objective?
Neck and neck here with Shifter pushing the top lane, trying to get a tier 2. Try to apply pressure here, but that'll open up the map on the bottom side for Renegades. It'll be the 4th dragon for them if they just walk up and take it. They may have to sacrifice the turret for it if they want it that badly, but you may also have to fight this top lane.
Whoa, RF Legendary very close to being engaged on. I think Dignitas knew the whole team was just over the wall, though, and didn't want to get anything too scary to keep themselves safe. Pretty much coming down to one of these fights, meaning your base, especially with the amount of damage coming up on both teams here. Not as much for Dig, as we see through their composition, but it is going to be very scary if you lose more than 2 or 3 members.
What's actually quite interesting is both of these teams actually have a substitute player. Dignitas' top laner and Renegades' AD carry, and they're rather short notice substitutes as well. But both teams are playing almost as if they don't have one. They have, it seems like their normal roster for most of this game.
Yeah.
Right. Billy Boss isn't doing anything that you would be like, oh man, that's the substitute playing right there. They haven't had time to gel just yet. But the thing is, they're not making these plays where you're utilizing these people correctly, right? Billy Boss's split hasn't been that effective, and Laud's poke, we haven't really seen them set up for around these players. It seems like the teams are still playing the way they want to play, and they're trying to plug these people into it. So you still see the same
So yeah, it does look very, very reminiscent of the play we've seen these guys do. Same dynamic, same kind of splits. Looks like Dignitas was maybe trying to pull the teleport out of RF Legendary there, but backed off as the pressure from Renegades would still be pretty harsh. Trying not to test the waters too much. Dragon is alive. May actually is just going to see RF Legendary dip down and take that by himself here. Pings are coming down. 3 pings for directional coming from Dignitas. We'll see if they can put a stop on it.
We're all on our way.
We are coming. But here it is.
They don't have too much on Baron in terms of vision either. Baron is completely dark right now. Even the entryway for them is dark. but they have eyes on Renegades in the mid lane, clearing these waves. As soon as you push out the mid, you basically get control of the map because it's a big focal point, and you can go and reinforce Dragon, and you can go towards the Baron as well. So it's a fourth Dragon there for Renegades. This might be a 5th Dragon game.
Where do they come from? Where do they come from? These are the things that hide under your bed. Scary games.
Where do they keep all the dragons?
I don't know.
It's just a different one.
The Monty and Doa talked about this. There's like a dragon den underneath. And it's like, who wants to go to the party? I gotta give him credit for that. That's pretty good. So yeah, that's probably the best explanation.
Oh my god, it's so sad.
It is though. It is very
so
sad.
Good.
You think you're going to have fun. 44 on the clock. Looks like Dignitas still hovering towards that top side. Shifter at 401. Still a little below Alex. But right now these guys are sporting full builds anyway, so it doesn't really matter. They're going to be chugging potions soon here, and those elixirs to make themselves that much stronger. These are going to be some final fights we got here. 75.5 to 75.2. Really one of the closest of the long games we've had throughout the season already.
Yeah, it's been neck and neck. Both teams are not making any huge plays because Dignitas wants to pick you, but Renegades wants to group up and kite backwards. So it's really nobody's actually going to play into the other team's strategy. Because if you're kiting backwards, you're not face checking.
Somebody's going to make it happen.
Somebody. It's going to happen. League of Legends has to end at some point. So something's going to happen.
Irene, I would not test that. I would not test that.
Right now, though, I'm actually quite curious because you want to push out mid lane if you're Renegades and get Laud the opportunity to back and pick up his package. Because if you're looking for a fight, you want that package.
The pressure comes over. Billy Boss is not able to get a lick there onto Crumbs. I don't know if that would have been their first engage. And Zyrene, frankly, I don't think there's enough time for him to go back and get the package. If he can sneak it, it would be gigantic. But then the team knows they've gone and got he's got the package because of that sound. And that's a nice calling to push off, as well as some follow-up damage. Keyray taking a bit as well. But Laud is hurt, and if Laud can be taken down, that's a lot of damage wiped off from this team.
Yeah, sometimes you just get double crit, and you have to back up. Unfortunate there, but Apollo, he got it in range, and he got to chunk RF. RF does have some lifesteal, though, with the Mercurial, and they're going to start it up.
The crowdy's getting rowdy. They want to see a Baron fight right now, and it looks like it's going to be started. 5,700 HP onto Baron. Got to get in for the smites. Crumbs over the wall. There's Kiwi Kid. He goes in very low, and he goes. No, he stays alive. That's Remy and Laud that are both down. Dignitas has pulled the trigger. Spooky Ghosts are out. I don't think they're going to follow here. They want to turn back. They wanted to go for Baron. They couldn't follow through the gravity field of Alex Ish anyways, and it is on now. Remy was actually not able to use the Crucible. That fight happened so quick and on Dignitas' terms. Crumbs is still alive, Zyrene. The 50-50 smite is alive, and it could still happen. If he could still dump over it at the right time, he goes down. He's not going to have it now.
Kiwi might headbutt him out. They're so hard to get into this pit.
Crumbs goes over the wall. What? What was that? Crumbs is going to go down now inside the pit. He tries to make a last-ditch effort play, but it was after expending all the abilities that would have actually saved him if he did get it. Very chaotic, and Dignitas was able to reap the benefits.
Yeah, Crumbs tunnels, and then he flashes into the pit. You'd think he would just want to flash, but of course,
he was already over there.
Kiwi Kid is tracking him, though. Kiwi Kid is going to headbutt him out as the Alistar if he's doing his job correctly.
You're right.
So he's trying to kind of mind game him at the same time.
It becomes difficult.
Baron HP. It's so hard. But going back to how that fight even became a thing is Laud. Shifter's sitting here. He's not actually doing damage. He is waiting for the pick. And Shifter's coming up big this season for Dignitas.
Absolutely incredible. Let's see. Digs up straight up the middle onto this one. Crumbs not up yet. This turret could be going down very fast. Billy Boss coming in. Keyray just on the side to make sure Alex actually can't get in and stop the fight with AoE. Alex now gets charmed after the follow-up comes in. Another hit from Shifter. Billy Boss is going to chomp down and eat up Remy. She goes down. Now they're on the inhibitor, and that's all it takes. The flick of a switch for Dignitas to find the right engage. And like we said, Zyre very reminiscent of the same spot it happened before for Dig to keep themselves alive in the LCS. And it looks like they are now going to put the finishing touches here on Game 4 of the day. Week 2, Day 1. The first Nexus turret goes down in 14-5. Zyrene, this was one heck of an even game all the way through. But with 48 minutes on the clock, Dignitas takes down Renegades.
And Shifter making it happen there. Shifter sitting in a bush. being very patient. His team is baiting the Baron. I was talking about it so much where you just need to deny vision, force them into a spot where you can execute on the pick composition, and they got it together. 47 minutes into the game, it was 6-5 for so long, and Dignitas picks up 8 kills in a quick sequence of events to end the game 14-5 and 2-1 after the first day, week 2.
Explosive and mind-bending. Saying Crumbs and Kiwi Kid and having them not on the same team during calls breaks your brain, but what a game coming in from Dignitas there, and Renegades as well, both to come in with a sub and both to really show the same kind of dynamic there. A longer sort of game, hesitance on some of the fights, but overall, they knew what they were doing because basically nothing was happening. They were getting what they wanted. They were playing very safe, and while that's not the game that everybody wants to watch, that's the game they played, and it almost worked for them.
Yeah, they played very safe. It was a different look from the Renegades this week as well. They were the team that always wanted to engage, look for the Morgana binding, look for the Callista ulti into making a play.
Yep.
This was kite back Renegades, and then the Tom Kench pretty much stops you playing a pick composition. And Dignitas picked up their own, and it came up big in the end.
And we see that the Callista, again, it's kind of it's for really anybody, a team that's for sure engaged, and they want to get engaged at any time. But having that taken away seems to be a big hit for these guys. Even Lod would have played that, and it seems to hit Renegades.
It enables the team so much. Lod, shrugs his shoulders. He's subbing in.
Yeah.
They don't have a lot of time with him, but at the end there, he was the one who got picked off. But the team seems supportive of him still.
Yep. Ra's very happy with Team Dignitas right now. Having just that one loss now, 2-1. They win over CLG, and now win over Renegades. It's very nicely done for them. It kind of shows that, as you were saying, the teams that you feel you should be beating, and then maybe some at the top, which means as you come into the second half of the split, you won't have as much of a kind of a juxtaposition to those teams.
Exactly, and also this win is rather big for Dignitas because if you're thinking of the projected standings right now, they're pretty close to Renegades in a lot of people's minds, and if they have that one up on them, then that means at worst, if they tie them 1-1, they get to play a tiebreaker against them.
Very true.
Or they'll end up owning the tiebreaker and be able to get into playoffs off of that because they're jockeying for position for that 5th, 6th, or maybe even higher now in Dignitas' eyes.
We'll see what happens. Well, we saw the game as well. Right now we're going to send it down to Freak to get the lowdown on Dig's second win of the split.
Thank you very much, Ravens Irene. I'm here with Kirei, the victorious jungler here for Team Dignitas. First things first, I got to talk to you about this game going around for like 48 minutes, and it hinged on Baron. I know you're new to Dignitas, but you're aware of the Dignitas memes around Baron. How much of that game were you like, oh God, it's going to happen again? Were you like ever afraid?
Well, the first attempt I was pretty afraid, but then the second attempt, Shifter said, okay, this is the plan, this is what we're going to do. And as you saw, like I reflanked, so we made sure that no vision there. And then, so basically all Nash and they were in a really bad position, and we managed to catch Corki, and we managed to win a game of that.
And that was, of course, a really good pick for you guys. I want to start then with the early game because you started out like 3-0, you're getting all the kills, but Renegades kept taking your turrets down, and they kind of pressured you back without even killing your champions off. Talk to me about how you guys were approaching the early to mid game and your role in it.
The thing is, like, we want to make sure that every time before we try to do something, we made sure the lanes were pushed, so we had time to set up control, like push mid lane, walk in top side, and get full vision. And when they managed to get the turrets, we were just they were just out-rotating us a little bit, and they managed to get most of the times for free.
So you said they out-rotated you in the early game. You guys finally caught back equal in gold. And there was this like 25-minute stint in the mid game where nothing was happening and you're fighting back and forth and nothing's going on. How did you finally come up with a plan to actually win the game?
The thing is, Danny just thought of the plan, which is like he was going to trap in the bush, so he was just staying there. We made, like I said, we made sure no vision, and we managed to bait the Baron and not throw this time.
And it worked out, yeah. So you guys secured it. You pretty much perfectly smited the last one as well. So then talk to me about sort of playing with Team Dignitas now. You guys are 3 games in with the season. I think you guys were sort of a big underdog coming in, but right now, top half of the standings at 2-1. Tell me about how this sort of journey with Dignitas has been.
The thing is, like, everyone in the house is really nice, and when I came into the house, everyone's really friendly. Everyone gets also really good along, so let's say we do something bad in game, like, everyone's like fine with it. You know, we just discuss after the games, and everyone's really professional. Like, I came from the Challenger series, and most people talk in the game when something happens, you know, but like in LCS it happens like barely, so that's really good.
So final question for you then. Tomorrow you face up against TSM, of course, a very strong team in North America, even though they're 1 and 2, they're very, very scary, I would say. So how are you going to approach that match?
Well, the thing is, like, I'm always confident, but like how I want to approach it is like I think just we're gonna win.
You're just gonna win, just no pressure at all.
Yeah, no pressure. Like I don't feel pressure by playing against any team. I just know they're good. I keep it in my back of the head, but like I'm like still the same.
All right. Anything else?
Oh no, that's it.
All right, just making sure you jumped in a second. All right, that's going to do it for us. Kiri, thank you very much for your time. Congratulations on your win. And let's go ahead and toss this down to the guys at the desk to talk about that game.
Thank you, Freak. Keyray 5-1-7 in that victory on the Elise over Renegades. And that's the first person I want to touch on is Keyray. Looking comfortable on the Elise. Got off to a very good start. Couple early kills, picking up 2, 1 in the top lane and in the mid lane, as well as blowing summoner spells. But then we hit that 25-minute period that Freak was talking about where both teams seemed at a loss for what they needed to do to bring a victory around.
It was a little bit of a slow game, obviously. Keyray had the good start with the few early ganks, but Renegades also had really superior wave clear in all 3 lanes, which made it really hard for Team Dignitas to take larger advantage of the early pressure that Keyray gave.
Yeah, the only kills he got were really just gank kills, and you don't often get objectives off that. And so what ends up happening is the lanes just reset, and then Renegades comp just pushes so much better. So as long as they're still in lanes just pushing, they're eventually going to take turrets, and that's what happened. They took the top and the bottom pretty quickly.
Yep. Graves, Corky, Thresh bot lane were very oppressive lanes, continuing to push waves into turrets. We saw 2 early turrets fall for the side of Renegades. But now I want to dive into this 25-minute period where we didn't see a whole lot happen and break down or at least come to a conclusion as to what the different strategies were that these teams could have taken in order to bring about a victory sooner, or in the case of Renegades, even come out with the victory at all.
Yeah, so like we said, Renegades comp has a ton of wave clear, a ton of push potential. They got into that kind of turret trade where they came out ahead, and then the thing was Dig still had a lot of pressure, and so Dig can't push on them. All they can do is really bait and look for picks, and Renegades just played really safe and just focused more on wave clearing, so the game stalled out for a really long time.
Yeah, we did see that turret trade in top and bottom lane where Renegades was able to secure an inhib turret fairly early into the game. We then later saw them pick up a Baron.
And then never go back.
And then never really return to that
We got
top
the inhibitor
lane.
open. It's all we need.
Yeah, they got 1 mid turret off it, and that's it.
Yeah, it was really tricky, honestly, for Renegades because they keep picking themselves, and this is a trend across really the first 3 games, these compositions where you have a Rek'Sai in the jungle, a non-engaged top laner, and then the entire initiation force falls on Remy. And even though they had good wave clear here, you need to land one hell of a death sentence, especially when you have an Alistar in the front line who can ult out if you land him, and then obviously that creates pressure, but it's not a team fight initiation, so you have to land a second hook in order to get something started. So wave clear as they may, they couldn't actually find clean fights.
Right, we had the Tom Kench as well, another level of safety there for Dignitas in case anyone did get hit by a hook. You know, so then it basically becomes a conversation around Renegades and whether or not they have any other strategies in their book, because so far they've been hyper reliant on Remy to be that engaged tool for the team. And as we've now discovered, a Thresh is not enough of an arsenal in terms of starting fights for this team. Dignitas, though, Billy Boss into the top lane. They've got some incredible success with subs in the lineup. Not that the Tom Kench was the reason for the win, but Dignitas didn't seem to struggle too much bringing in a newer player.
I think it'll look like a little bit of a struggle. Alistar Tom Kench is a combo where, especially when you have such a safe carry line, that you can just ult the Alistar behind and have him like headbutt in the Zonulus Victor or something. And they never even looked for that play. I don't remember seeing them combo up for a TP together a single time. All those times they were baiting, you can just get a free TP with 2 people behind.
Yeah.
So it looked like a little bit of lack of practice or synergy.
For whatever reason, Dignitas wins when they make substitutes. Like, you go all the way back to when Golden Glue substituted for Scar, and they'd win even though he'd miss a shockwave and get a quadra kill afterwards. It just happens.
That was against my team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Woo!
So you remember it.
Yeah, I do remember that. I remember just watching it.
Here, Billy Boss teleports literally to a ward that would have been faster for him to run.
Yep.
But they win the game.
With the
so
focus
congratulations.
It happens nonetheless.
It's good. He seemed to settle in a little bit throughout the game, which is really, really hard to do in that environment. Made the bad teleport play around 18 minutes, and then, you know, he slowly got better at proccing his gray health. Sometimes he didn't proc it. Sometimes he did it really early. And it was really Keyray, Shifter, Apollo, Kiwi that did that game in for Team Dignitas.
Yeah, but learning points for both teams as it was a pretty extended victory. We'll see if they can look to clean things up in the future. Let's see how the teams are arranged in the standings after today's performances. Leading the pack is Immortals and Energy Esports, who are both undefeated coming out of day 3. CLG shares third alongside Dignitas, each with 2 wins. In the bottom half of the pack, we have 5 teams tied with 1 win and 2 losses, while Team Liquid is still searching for their first win of the new season. Now, the teams will continue to shake out tomorrow, starting with our first match, TSM versus Team Dignitas. A bit later, Counterlogic Gaming will take on Cloud9, and we'll wrap up week 2 with Renegades versus Team Impulse. Now, make sure you tune in for our match of the week, a battle for first between Energy Esports and Immortals. And immediately following this broadcast tonight, stick around for week 2 of the ULOL Campus Series featuring Georgia Tech versus Florida State. Now, I want to give a special thank you to Mark Zimmerman for joining us today. And now for myself and the entire broadcast crew, thank you for watching, and we'll see you mañana. Good night.
Blue opens up week 2 properly here. Team Impulse on blue, Cloud9 on red. Here we go.
Didn't see that.
It's ulted. He's going to die for sure. Here comes Sarah from the backside. Oh, and someone disrupted. They've already picked up 2. And Impulse take down Cloud9, only giving up 5 kills.
TP, give me a ward. Give me a ward. Give me a ward.
I want.
I'm here.
Too slow, too slow.
On Probalter.
Kill the summer.
Confuse.
Let's go.
Hey, run, Dennis, run.
One of you, Rico.
I'm on Brown. I'm just hitting Brown. I got it.
Immortals 3-0.
Look, it says RIP and then it's all my old teammates. Destroyed. That's so sad.
Oh my god.
RIP.
That's actually hilarious.
Oh, it's because we're here last season with the same sign, but now they just wrote RIP on it. That's really sad.
Play close.
Looks at the queue, gets a 2-man stun. Here comes the re-engage. Phoenix wants in, but oh no, Darshan and Huhi turn it back around, and Phoenix sniped away. That's gonna be it. CLG improved to 2-1.
2:31 on the clock. Oh, this is what we were looking for.
The damage.
Wait, can they follow up on it? You're right, the damage. Gotta get in for the spikes. Crumbs over the wall.
Oh!
There's Kiwi Kitty goes in. Dignitas takes down Renegades.